Alan was
don't win 17.
No, we are 17 years, but not two front runners.
Yeah.
The last time now, Obi sende me sa notice of poll now, not 17. You know, some of the names very interesting names. You know, in that list of 17. Chematin, no way. Your friend said Boache Jakon was on that list.
Yeah.
Kofi Konadu Apreku was
Aliu
Mahama, Papa Usu Ankoma,
Hakman
Usu Ajeman. We your friend is saying former press secretary to John Ajekum Kofo, Kwabene Japan was on. Why Arthur Kennedy? Arthur Kennedy now.
Kofi Konadu 19. Obisa the wife. Where she was 19 or what kind?
That was interesting. But I think subsequent to that, no, Alan signed contestee.
Yeah, 2010, 2014.
And 2014.
And then I gap no so.
Yeah. Not any panel no so.
Exactly.
And no gap never be kese. And yatise Alan Chematin a resign. Of course, Yatna ha akada. I've said it here before. Say at a point he attempted resigning. Ama omampenyi anye ne letter no antum. I'm told say omampenyi busan say ofri hwa na onye ne trade minister. Enti a lot of people knew say a matter of when and not if na ordinary juma no ebeto, because again there is a constitutional injunction on him, so per se or contested for flag bearership now. The party's constitution here, I think Article 13, I'll find it and read. In the also ordinary juma no etoho. No cre. The media reporter yehuno say ordinary juma na to ampa.
Well, the betima cano emphatically they say resignation letter in the call.
Okay.
And not just a call because almost one say empha krataro koma or mampenyi and on tell baby.
Okay.
Or no kazane sorry and or call Jubilee House. So in fact meeting starts around 5:30 p.m. in Ra. Yes, but
a meeting of between wine and wine.
Alan no requested meeting with Omampenyi.
Okay.
And Omampenyi a man is Aquiniano.
Okay.
And he on meeting Angasa there around 5:30 p.m. And a Saturday. Time I in information said meeting Aquina Alan a free Jubilee House was almost midnight.
Oh really?
Yeah, almost midnight. In fact around 11:30, 11:35. And I Yan and TSA Alan a free Jubilee House on at the meeting in Aquina. But time now free Jubilee House no man penny. In fact, even as we speak, no, until say, Bia, Krata be free or my penina, so ya about a bit you say, Alan, ne Krata, Abato said, Manot, penina sum. No, we can still assume so, my penny.
Resignation
because the Pabia no much to come and you saw me into my penina resignation not to know. Don't catch is a Omodia Mano, or my commas and Buffalo. And the basic idea, but not himself now. Omampeni dragging feet a lot on the matter very clear say there's no way I say obey accept resignation or even to the sense that Ochemumpo say flag bearership race no person kwa obey mama na kunya mana kwa contest so kono kwa na ya
on sign me
obey no sign me fana juma as trade minister because of the way omaye juma ne targets for their man almost what my achieve ni nyina and the way we conducting ho. Even though on a contest 2007, 2010, 2014, and he clearly you could say in the internal policy of MPP, no, you can assume some million rivals.
Sure.
But in terms of say what support to Mampeni, very appreciative to Mampeni, say that on Pese Obelusu, the leadership or trade ministry or any the wise council for the man. But Anano was very clear. In fact, when you are teaching, said. And yes, also on a panel cast, like man, coming, you know, I'm coming. The idea now discussions now cost to the extent that on one kind of supporters, no, and then the people more band and no more that to them say, I was also the Jan and also.
Okay,
so when I just said,
Obe contested,
yeah, this is the time. In fact, even before, yeah, economy, no, dollar, no, now, feed and I see, you know, now petrol, some cost on a buying a general way, you know.
Yes,
now, man, for every man said, a pay anchor on distancing of home free. Buying information at you know, and be most another school of torture was what this answer what means I didn't say just oh no you with him over so churches oh no oh so and then you enjoy the name you have to stay so discussion of course
okay
but in the run up to the end of the year no and another round of discussions, including other sponsors, financiers, very close people. Actually, we said, a clear nipa now on number contest in the primaries. No,
yes,
one of them are likely to be the vice president of the republic. Now, so on to so no because be a vice president me the two or being many people. No, vice president now the midnight of January 6, 2025.
Sure,
and just one will be sir a contested presidential primaries. Or also so the root are strong, and then the support base is strong for party. In fact, you can assume that between the two of you know at this very young channel, nobody can say say obey any outright.
Sure.
And the Nipano air vice president all the privileges or two kwanya courtesies ninya ne bema no it will be enjoy to the end. To the extent that one here or more support to or more edu achi no. Say vice president eko ma so ya they will show love to the vice president. Sure. In terms of psychological battle no the vice president na was anti aba na vice president be ko bi na master brabidi meja be na kaza wonko and I just say facts no were made very clear to him.
One interesting thing crowd say fan say factory bi are ready
exactly
na Alan person ko commission na VIP cast on so person
be ya obera kaza wane ma
cast on ma o bounce na say o banko so o so kasa because vice president
and also be
kasa obetum so appropriate glory na e we ne ho nyina it I get your point.
It's not man for you say baby I do ne there either who drink or so drink deep who to make us so ko tesi keke and finally na say yenya and say you will cross over into 2023 with that announcement.
Okay.
And you hear anymore na amfa and na eja enura anwumra around 11:30 na yenya and say finally no what the krata na one penny. That's the time I will feel one there one fa krata na di the choja krata no ho. Okay. Na just say it was safe to say what the krata kwa or there towards adwuma no ontimi enye biem. And na eja no amache bedu adwuma ma yeah there was a bob SM breaking news no radio so.
Wow. Enti for who are ebia na do afidie na to her and what the throughout the day on say the ekoso. The news is that the Trade and Industry Minister Alan Kwadwo Trematin and from where ya mobodi niti no edino enni menye Trematin or the krata akomo mampanyin say adwuma no untumi enye adwuma ne bio ba say the munim no say what the resignation letter kwa e was any power file adwuma no so agitum say I what the abrebe magia to mobitimi akọ as we speak and per the presidential affairs correspondent akano yenyante say omampanyin agiatum enti yebehwe say official statement ebe free presidency abadia yebehwe say the nioma ABC akoba for now. The president has not officially accepted the resignation letter from the Trade and Industry Minister. Now, may catch him say, Osha MPP Constitution now, Article 1316, say the Vice President does not have to resign. Say, or contested for flag bearership. Now, inti said Elton Ekano say, Bassa Vice President be contested ampa or was natural advantage no as vice president he would be certain vice president no wetimi asanya campaigning. What it then means they say so mampanyi Alan resignation ni tumwa now Alan becomes like an ordinary member, a normal member of the NPP a obetimi nya kwan afei say party no ebie kwan for campaign obetimi akọ out akwa campaign no aye ni yie. There was similarities to what happened in 2007 because in 2007 and so on at the time not only 7 minister
the same portfolio
interestingly now Akufo-Addo also 7 minister
minister for foreign affairs then.
Yes, all of them resigned. In fact
Omampani Mamu ina ultimatum at the start of that particular year editor when he said the way a man for crisscross country no be a person or contested to lead a party at the end so why it was an ultimatum to all of them and no more imagine the free about him
and that time so Aliu Muhammad then vice president one resign good and I think Kofo's position on this matter any Akufo-Addo position no a different Kofo gave them the ultimatum for all of them to resign. Akufo-Addo did not seem to want to give them that ultimatum. As or no, wohona ye o campaign. In fact, okokra na ulusu na anye ya utimi saiba eba befa opposition. No, that's a really interesting. But many member of parliament from Prayeso, any enkomo, and here we are. Would look at the names of big names of party guys are ever up. Say we were behind candidate A, we were behind candidate B. We'll go into that analysis. But David Opoku Ansa, MP for Imprieso constituency, ono ye known ally of Alan Kwejo Chrematin. He's not hidden that. Honorable Akwaba, apomu ye there.
Me when you Obi.
Afi papa nkometu ya visi say na niome ekoyi.
Afi mu nyina me nsia wo.
Enye easy. We are just bare 6 days into the new year, but you share. I was here when you share here. Great. Can you confirm information I want say Alan Kwejo Chrematin had in the resignation letter come out and penny and another damn Akufo-Addo?
Well, Obi, I think say for administrative purposes, you know, say or the Bisaka command Mampenia, we are hoping to Mampeni a day a moye and answer what they Casanaba to that. But the dear from what I have gathered and from what is going on, I know say Opinino, I imagine say and say or the Nejuma Betung Kakra. I've been served Mampeni and Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo for 6 good years as trade minister. It is the right step in the right direction, especially when we all know he harbors presidential ambition. They would want to lead the MPP to victory in 2024. And this is also resigning. By now, Bia Coca na Alan Dabeno be resigning na Alan only the. I think one significant thing about Alan I have come to learn and I have come to appreciate. Me say, Ebra Minister for Trade and Industry, he did not want his presidential ambition to lead the kind of work he was doing for the president. And I think it's one thing, the loyalty, the dedication, and the love shown to Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo is one thing as an MPP member I appreciate. Now I'm a Bonabaso Bebre. People are going around, people are having meetings, but in all of this, no, you don't hear or see an Alan Chrematin anywhere campaigning or telling people that he wants to lead this government. Of course, any moment we are there, a lot of more people catch and say, hey, step aside. For instance, I thought that you cannot carry on till 2024, 2023 when you want to. But the man said one thing, that the success of Akufo-Addo will be the very cornerstone will campaign on in 2024, whether he is the flag bearer or anybody else is the flag bearer. So no there. The preoccupation is a brand new moment. He will not resign from government. He will stay on for things to normalize. So for me, looking at what is happening and the dollar form, the economy seems stable. Measures have been put in place. IMF have come in. There's been staff level agreement. This is the appropriate time. The decision that he has taken, I think we all must commend him and hope say anybody who has presidential ambition, should also follow suit and do same.
Okay, before maybe your last point, Musa question way.
Yeah.
At least from where we sit now, Alan Kwejo Chrematin and make it public the intention to want to step aside until say President Ebeje resignation not too more Ebemano some effect no so the intention and we declared to the president. That means he will still have to go back and work as trade and industry minister.
Well, of course, granted the president accepts his resignation, he has some period to hand over. Also preparing the handing over notes. Or say the deputy minister in the last 6 years. Because you see, most of the flagship MPP programs, one district, one factory, was led by Alan Chrematin. Automobile industry, and Casa Cassia, Toyota, Peugeot, VW, It was led by Alan Martin. And also after the major policy, it does not only concern Ghana, but it has to do with the entirety of African continent. It was led by Alan Martin. A lot more programs like the AGOA, Ninyama, Akokoso at the Trade Ministry. So he needs to prepare his notes. And I know that the president doesn't delay in some of these things. The president will certainly name somebody to succeed him. You would have to sit with the person and take the person through what they have done. And then enabling youth, Oko constituencies, I would be about 60 of them. One factories are purposely built by government through the Rural Enterprises Agency for the young people of this country. All of this needs to be well documented and handed over to a successor. So I'm not too sure say a sudden death, sir. It will stay on for like 10 or some 15 days more so that he's able to hand over properly.
Yeah, that is if the president accepts the resignation.
Yes, and then I'm subject to the approval of the president, because I know the president loves Alan Martin's works, and I will not be surprised even if the president comes out to say that Alan, probably you want to do this, but I feel there's more we need to do, so let's work together. I know they have very cordial working relations, and one of the reasons I sense is that Alan would not want to disturb Akufo-Addo's government with his personal ambition. And he will stay behind, but he is ready to prefer any sort of support for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. That for me is leadership.
Yeah, but the other thing is, if the president refuses to accept the resignation, now Okachre Alan say on Juma, because we've heard say this is not the first time Alan attempted to tender in his resignation. Initially, Omeki attempt, the president told him to go back and work on your Juma on your campaign. In fact, our campaign Krano Lusua on Simra back Emrame and Juma with Trade Ministry. If the president should say same now, what do you think Alan Martin will do?
Well, you see, Alan is an MPP member. Alan loves the government. Alan has served in this government for 6 years. And I know, sir, he will not take this decision, alone. He's consulted widely with his family, with party members, with his colleagues, and even, I'm sure, with the president. So I'm not too sure, sir, these rumors will be coming out just for rumors' sake. I'm sure there's been. But that said, I know the relation, like I mentioned, the relation between Alan and Akufo-Addo. Akufo-Addo, friend of my man, also just my man. So that is a relationship between the president and Alan Martin. So, and I know Alan wants Akufo-Addo to succeed, because that is the only way the NPP can break their aid. So if, in the wisdom of the president, it sits down his junior brother to sit through and think through this, and there's a need for him to continue to support government, he will do that. Mind you, you don't only need to be minister to be able to support the government. There are consultants behind the scenes who are working very to support the Akufo-Addo government. And for me, it's about the success of Akufo-Addo's government, and not necessarily Alan Martin or any other person. But it's about the success of this current government. This is somebody who in 2007, against all odds, decided, he will not go for any second round. He will cede that leadership of the party to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. So that mutual love is there, and that mutual respect is there. And I know, if they have to do something like that, they will.
But last point now, I say I will come back to. I remember say we can be say Alan step we na we taking unyaya anka all other people in government. What's our ambition, no? Omonso emfa omajumanya den ento na oman distracted abayno. I don't know if you made that point with recourse to your party's constitution, because in your constitution, Article 13(1), election of the presidential candidate, 1(6) neka say any national officer, minister, deputy minister, or MMDCE who files to contest to become the presidential candidate of the party shall resign his or her position. So, Ushemwa, it seems that it's silent on the vice president. if the certain vice president would want to contest her, Onono can stay on and go about his campaign. You agree, right?
I agree with you. So I perfectly agree with you. I think the vice president was on the ticket with the president, so you cannot ask the vice president to step aside as vice president. It doesn't work that way. I mean, unless Onoa decided for his own personal ambition, you want to step aside. But there's no law in the books, the Constitution of Ghana, the Constitution of the party that suggests the vice president should step aside. Of course, I mean, the vice president could set parameters. I've seen it elsewhere. For instance, one thing Akufo-Addo did that excited me when he was a presidential candidate was that he decided that he was not going to abuse presidential incumbents. These are things that we can discuss in future. But for me, the most important thing is that the Constitution does not bar the vice president and from should not say that it should not step down. I mean, that is within his own right. Any decision that he wants to take, the party. Of course, it has happened before. In 2007, we had a fine vice president, Alhaji Aliyu Mahama, who contested to be president, and he did not resign. So I think that it would be so unfair on the part of the vice president. We tell him, say, he should resign. It doesn't sound right. Okay. He has other duties as vice president. Yeah, President Niwa, vice president, they cram my hand. So that's vice president, you know. Only president, you know, and he supported the president in his 6.5 years. And I know he's going to support him through to the final day.
Yeah, well, other questions, but I guess we would wait for the right time. I know how passionate you are about this campaign.